Whether we are psychic or not, we always receive messages. And sometimes it comes in subtle form, like we see like a butterfly and we're like, oh, transition, or we see like a sequence of numbers and we're like, oh, let's look that up, 222, or, so sometimes it comes subtle. And then sometimes, or like say we hang out with a friend and we see like 3 different people that day and they all end up telling us the same thing, like, oh, you should do this, or you should start working on that, and it's all the same thing. Then sometimes it's a sign. There's times though where we don't get the messages, and what happens is it uproots us, like something drastic happens, so it's forcing us to get back on track, like we lose a job or we get fired or there's a breakup, but there's something that pushes us out of the ordinary, and then we're like, what did we do wrong? But sometimes it's just pushing us back to where we're supposed to be or what we were going to do to begin with. So when we're doing our daily routine and we're walking around and maybe we glance at something and we're like, oh, it's 111, or you see a butterfly, it's like a message. But when you start like searching for an answer and you're like walking around like, oh my God, 111, what does that mean? What time is it? 222, what does that mean? Oh my goodness, I see a moth over there. What does that mean? Like, then it becomes more paranoia and you're like searching for something, or you're searching for the answers, and it's not a real message. And what happens is you get confused, and sometimes you get into this paranoia state where you start trying to do everything you think you're supposed to be doing. So the best thing is to just kind of relax and go on your journey. And if you glance at something and you notice something and it hits home for you, then it's probably a message. What I wanted to do is share with you how I look at receiving messages and how synchronicity plays a big role in it. And also I want to share with you an exercise that I do to get some answers without trying so hard. I wanted to tell you a story about my friend. His wife cheated on him. He always thought of leaving her but made excuses, but it came to the point where she finally divorced him and he moved back to Hawaii to live with his parents. That same year, his dad got sick, but as he took care of his dad, they rekindled their friendship. Later that year, the dad died of cancer. I'm sure when his wife finally left him, he felt uprooted and forced into leaving her, but it was something he thought about doing for a while. And he actually made peace with his father before the father passed away. But the synchronicity of it all is that he was pushed on track to move forward and to be there for his dad at that time. We all want things, but we have to go on the universe time, not our time. I would do things and try forcing things to happen, but when I did, the universe wasn't ready for me to fall into place, and so obstacles would come up everywhere. Just like my YouTube channel, I wanted to do this 2 years ago, but I knew in my heart something told me not yet. Even if people thought I was procrastinating or was creating an obstacle for myself, I knew the timing was just not right. But then of all times, New Year's Eve, fireworks and all, I hear a voice in my head and a gut feeling inside saying, do it now, post now. I'm like looking at the good food my mom cooked and my family celebrating and relaxing, but I went in the quiet room and did my first post. So I had to go with what the universe was telling me, what my gut was telling me. We can't fight the wave, we have to ride it. Sometimes if we fight it, more negative things happens. Sometimes it's our ego that tries to fight it. It's like a surfer trying to catch a wave. His instincts will tell him, paddle out now, catch it now, so he goes. But if he stops and thinks, oh wait, that wave might be too far, or too small, or another one's going to be right after that, so I'll wait, he will miss that opportunity. I'm still learning how to flow and adapt, but I guess Bruce Lee says it the best when he says, be formless and shapeless like water. Put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. Put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can flow or creep or drip or crash, but be like water, my friend. People used to tell me adapting is weak. We're letting other people get what they want. But it's not that I don't have boundaries, I do, but I also realize that you learn so much more from adapting, because that irritating friend that nags you all the time is actually kind of like a message or guides working through them and will steer you back on course. Say that this one friend kept asking you to go out and nagging you, hey, let's go to the mall today, they have a good sale, and you're thinking, I have no money, I have to save. Besides, I was going to stay home and catch up and maybe do laundry. But she keeps begging and nagging, so you finally go. You go to the mall and then you see this friend that you were trying to get a hold of for several years now. And you actually bump into her. So aren't you glad you rode the wave and went to the mall? Sometimes that wave is right there. You just have to know when to ride it. However, if you get the instinctive feeling to do something, but then you kind of hesitate and you try to analyze it or try to plan it, you start losing that momentum and the wave has already left. Being aware of synchronicity will help you see why things are a certain way at the time. Tap into your gut feelings and know what choices to make. You know the cartoon, The Justice League, and how the Wonder Twins had powers to turn into things? Every time I watched it, I was like, wow, what are they going to turn into now? Then I'd be all disappointed. I'd be like, oh crap, they turned into a water in a bucket. What kind of power is that? But the Wonder Twins, they had it right. Water can adapt and change. It has no limits. And the bucket will hold it for the time till it's ready to be used. One of my friends is single, and for some reason, every time she dates someone recently, it just didn't work out. I told her maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe the universe and you aren't ready to find the synchronicity yet. And maybe those guys are not good for you. And maybe your guides were like, nope, this one's not for you. Let's keep him busy and away from her. And nope, that one's not good for you, so let's keep you busy and away from him. Then she said, you mean to tell me my guides cock-block me? I was like, I guess, but it's true. I remember when I first started doing readings, as someone asked their questions, I'd stare at the cards intensely, wanting to help them so badly. I'd get some messages and it'll turn out okay, but when the session was over, I put my cards away, I'd lean back, exhale, pull my chair away from the table, and start having small talk with the person because the reading was already over. That's when more messages came. I just spit out information effortlessly because, you know why? I was relaxed. My body wasn't contracting. I was an open channel. So there's this exercise I want to share with you. In the morning, think of a conflict you want to resolve or a question. With intention, put the thought into the universe, and maybe with a little bit of tension. Then this is the hard part. Let it go. Clear your mind for a bit. Sit in silence, maybe just 10 minutes. Don't tap in, don't search for an answer. Just clear your mind and make space to allow the energy to download into your mind. Don't try to analyze or anything for that matter. The 10 minutes is just for the download. Then go about your day. Forget all about it. Later you will translate the download as you're driving, walking, doing dishes, taking a shower, using the bathroom, etc. This is when you might have a thought or an idea on how to resolve the issue.